Hello, lovely people. Welcome to our tarot reading for the week of the 2nd of September. I hope you're all well. I hope you all had a good week. And I hope you're looking forward to hearing what the cards have to tell us for this week. I know I certainly am. Let's have a look and see, shall we? Okay. So we have the we have the 9 of Cups. We have the King of Cups. And we have the 5 of Swords. So we're looking at 2 minor arcana cards, which is very much to do with day-to-day kind of issues, sort of not quite as deep as the major arcana. And then we're looking at the King of Cups, which is a court card, and the court cards can represent either a side of yourself, or it can represent somebody who's close to you. It could be somebody that's close to you in a positive way or in a negative way for that matter too. So looking at this spread here, we've got 2 cups, which is interesting because we're looking at a lot of emotions here. And also we have a Swords, which is very much about the mind, the intelligence. So we're looking here really at emotional intelligence, which I think is quite exciting. So if we start at the beginning here, we're looking at the 9 of Cups. The 9s are in tarot tend to be a period of reflection before a final commitment, say to a goal or to a purpose. So the number 10 is a number of completion, and you know, so it makes sense that 9 is that period just before completion, when you're sort of looking back and you're reflecting on what has brought you there, what your journey has been, if you like. And the 9 of Cups, we're looking at a very contented, person here, really. And, got the arms crossed and is looking quite pleased with himself, really. And so this person is reflecting on past actions. This card is a time to review like results of past efforts, and because it's the 9 of Cups, this is looking like a very satisfied card. It's pretty much about previous decisions and actions that lead to the point, or that have led to the point of where you are. And you've now reached a time where you have to decide whether any changes need to be made in order to move forward successfully. And because we're looking at Cups, we're looking at emotional reflection. And so the 9 of Cups here is representing fulfillment as a result from, say, a job well done, and or maybe an idea that you've seen through to completion. Now, this card can also represent, it can also represent feelings, highlight feelings of self-love and self-respect. Now, that is not self-love in the sense of self-inflation, or, a sense of narcissism. This is very much just being very happy with who you are, and not believing that the world revolves around you by any means, but that you have a powerful sense of self-worth and confidence. And when you have that sense of power and self-confidence, you do actually really understand that the world does not revolve around you. It's a kind of an interesting thing, really. I've heard this expression, oh, the world doesn't revolve around you. But really and truly, if we really reflect on our own individual lives, then really and truly our world revolves around us. And I just feel that that's an expression that can be misused when somebody says, oh, you know, the world doesn't revolve around you. I just feel that it's an expression that can be misused because, of course, everybody's world revolves around them. Everybody's world revolves around them to some degree. And that is a very healthy state of being, that state of being to some degree. And that, to some degree, is self-love and self-respect. And you can have self-love and you can have self-respect and still look out for others and still be considerate of others. So, you know, don't kind of get mixed up about that. And this card is very much about your self-worth. It's about your confidence. And it represents the fulfillment of wishes and the enjoyment of life's luxuries. And again, what's luxury to one person is not necessarily luxury to another. So, you know, you can define your own luxuries in this case. So what this card is saying is that life is offering you abundant opportunities to accept good things. And every day, you know, you have that choice. You have that choice every day to either feel passion for life or to be numb, basically, to its wonders, be numb to the wonders of life. And that is a state of being, because there could be days when you will be fully open to the passion for life. And there may be other days when you're just not that open, or you're just not that able. So this card is suggesting that now is a very good time for you to offer yourself up to the abundant opportunities and to accept the good things that are coming your way. And like, this may be a good time for you to reflect that, you know, are there maybe too many things going on in your life that you feel that you need to worry about, so that you have no time to enjoy yourself. And if this is part of your reflection, then, you know, just, it's a good idea to, you know, to reflect on the basis of, you know, life is offering you lots of things and you need to be open to them. You need to be able to see what's happening. So it's saying, you know, don't worry about things too much. That this is a time to start feeling good about what your life is currently offering you. And to turn that tide of worrying, you must allow yourself present happiness. And of course, present happiness, again, is that word happiness. Is one person's happiness is not another person's happiness. So look at what's happening in your life. I can remember one time walking down the road and I don't know, I just had this real sense of happiness. And it was a very momentary thing. And I must have had this great big grin on my face, because I remember somebody stopping me and saying to me, oh my goodness, you know, you look so happy. What's happened? And I said, oh, I don't know. I just feel right this minute. I just feel really, really happy, but I don't know why. And I remember the other person's shoulders slumping and going, oh, is that it? Like, literally nothing. And I'm like, well, it's okay. It's enough for me. But they were disappointed that I didn't have any news, whereas actually I was perfectly happy to be just happy. So it can be in a moment. It can, you know, it can last for a moment. It can last for however length of time it's going to last. But this card is telling you, jump into that, absorb that, and you know, be okay with it. It's also telling you to beware of excess. And so, you know, that maybe you're worrying excessively about things that you don't need to worry excessively about. So it's kind of it's quite an intriguing card, this, and especially, you know, when now it's followed with the King of Cups, because the King of Cups is a very kind, affable, forgiving person. And this king is perfectly happy at home, in the realms of his emotions. So this king is telling us that, you're always going to have feelings. So why not sort of turn their power into something positive? Channel that power of your feelings into something positive. Maybe you can ask yourself, like, where are your emotions being channeled right now? Were you maybe perhaps taught to repress your feelings and your emotions? And are maybe negative past emotions leaving you sad, and maybe they're leaving you scared or unmotivated or depressed? So this is, again, we're looking at reflection here as well, aren't we? Now, the King of Cups knows that emotions can either buoy us or sink us. So basically, feelings, they can be helpful or they can be destructive. Feelings are neither good or bad. They're emotions. They're neither good or bad either. Well, I guess your feelings are your emotions. And what they are is their energy. That's what they are. And so they can be turned positive or they can be turned negative. But once your feelings and emotions are unleashed, they can create a very powerful current that manifests results. So this is something to bear in mind, that when you unleash your emotions, to bear in mind the effect that they can have, and that those results that they're manifesting, they could be negative or positive. Now, if you look at this card here, this here is a whale. It's a funny little whale, but nevertheless, it is a whale. And the whale symbolizes the ability to access old memories and to bring them to the surface for understanding and healing. So when you make peace with your past, it means that you don't actually have to work so hard to resist it. And I think that's really fascinating, that sense of looking at our past, confronting those things that we don't want to recognize or see, and finally making peace with what that all entails. Because we do truly work very, very hard to resist what we don't want to see or what we don't want to hear. And I love the expression that what you resist persists. So this card is a reminder that if you can bring your past to the surface for understanding and for healing, then, you won't have to work so hard to resist it. And then we have here on this side, we have the ship. And this is the ship here. And the ship represents the power of your mind, to invent solutions, to harness those feelings. So the king is sitting here in his throne, and his throne is sitting there, it's above the waves. And this symbolizes that he's not being ruled by his feelings, but rather he governs them. And he stays in contact with his very deep emotions and memories, but he's not overcome or submerged by them. This king can focus on a goal and then harness the power of his emotions to achieve it. And this really, so there's the message of this card. It's saying if you can harness the power of your emotions and not be governed by them, then this is putting you in a very, very powerful place, to sort out what it is that basically needs sorting. Now, we then have here, we have the Five of Swords. Now, this is a really interesting card to have chucked in here, because the five heralds change in the tarot, and the swords is very much about the need for understanding. And So this card, the Five of Swords, it represents negotiating with others, particularly after a disagreement. And it presents an opportunity to have your needs met in ways that will strengthen bonds for future negotiations. Maybe there's been harsh words spoken, maybe there's been accusations or recriminations, have all been voiced. And all parties involved now have to find the time to reflect and take responsibility for their words and their actions. So there's quite a bit of reflection. It seems to be like a theme of reflection here, doesn't it? And these cards here are showing you kind of like the power of your reflections in the sense of how good things and positive things can happen. Here you have these stormy clouds, and there's a bit of a conflict here between there's a bit of a conflict here between fulfillment and contentment and say conflict and defeat. So the Swords people are generally, they're very sociable, so they do thrive in communities, and Cups people are very sociable as well. Now, the Fives warn you not to take on more than you can handle. This card is very much about pacing yourself. It's saying get organized in your thinking, because don't forget, we're looking at swords here. So get organized in your thinking. Break down larger tasks into smaller achievable pieces that can be accomplished over time. And that this will help you replenish your self-esteem and your personal power. So, we're looking at a lot of stuff here about personal power, aren't we? And how to make the best use of it. Now, the Fives advises you not to waste time resisting what you need to do. So don't resist things with avoidance and exasperation or procrastination. I mean, we're all fantastic at procrastination. This card is telling you to get organized in your thinking, sort out stuff in your calendar, and be committed. And the strange thing is that when you get organized like that, and when you become committed like that, and when you set up a routine like that, then you'll start to find yourself looking forward to working on that particular task, because by confronting it, that will continue to make you feel powerful. So you can achieve your dreams, but you must schedule the time to work on them. That's what this card is telling you. And this card is also telling you the Five Swords. It's also telling you, it's warning you kind of in a way not to take on too much of other people's issues, that you don't need to come to other people's rescues. And we're very much looking at self-reflection, self-esteem, and personal power. And you really have to work on yourself before you can start coming to the aid of other people. So we are here, we're looking at a very happy, contented situation here, maybe in your current situation, that maybe you've achieved the status through emotional intelligence and ability to listen to others, and creating that balance between your emotions and your actions. And you've probably had quite it's been quite a journey, and I kind of feel that you've come through this journey, and that you've made decisions here which you're reflecting on here to bring you to this really good place of understanding yourself. So it's quite a thought-provoking. It's quite a thought-provoking set of cards, really. But ultimately, it's very much, the King of Cups, say, and the Fives and the Nine of Cups here, they represent a balance between power and vulnerability, and between wisdom and challenges. And the combination can help you to understand the complexity of your own emotions, and how you can use your inner strength and empathy to overcome obstacles and navigate challenging situations. So I'm going to leave you with that thought-provoking message for this week. And I hope that it has resonated with you. And if it has done, do leave me a comment below. You can subscribe to this channel to be notified for the next reading. Now, if you would like to know more, you can book a private reading with me. You'll find my email address in the description of the video. So lovely people, until next week, I'm going to love you and leave you.